So now we're going to talk about some things to do after work or post-work rituals. So another thing you've probably seen healthcare workers do, especially ones who are working on the front lines in the ER and hospitals, is to do cleansing. So when you come home after your work, it's great to, again, create that barrier between outside world and inside world. And it can be very emotionally soothing as well to wash it away from you. So having a cleansing shower, doing laundry after your shift, or just putting things in a laundry basket. So you get home, hi kitty, you get home, you wash your hands, wash your face, change your clothes, take a shower, put new clothes on, have a laundry basket that's kind of near the doorway or a safe place where you can change, and just literally change your state. So like Mr. Rogers is a great example. Every time he would be in the outside world, he would come onto the stage in the home light environment, he would take his shoes off, he would put new comfortable shoes on, he would take his jacket off, he would put a sweater on, right? So we're doing that emotional state change and also literally cleaning out what you just went through. So during that time, with a wonderful white noise generator of a shower, is a great time to process some of those emotions that you had to suppress earlier. And again, it's okay to numb or suppress things in the moment, as long as you give yourself a chance in the future to actually process them. So the shower is a great time. Cry, sob, laugh hysterically, shudder, just scrub everything. Stand still and let the water flow over you. Visualize washing away your day. Anything that you don't want to carry with you, like that person's angry response, wash it away. My coworker continue to scratch his face, wash it away. Like just let it be cleansed off of you as a meditation. And that's also valuable for your mental health. Now, as doctors, there is not just that emotional component, but there's also a mental emotional medicine in water, if you choose the temperature for what you need. So we talk about two exciting kinds of baths right now. We have a neutral bath, which approximate your own body temperature, and we have a hot bath or shower as well. So if you take a neutral bath, which is 99 to 101 degrees Fahrenheit, and if you think of a float tank, that's going to be neutralizing. So it's going to very calm, it's going to calm your nervous system. It'll feel like your own self. And so that, like either laying in a bathtub if that's available to you, or having that temperature of water being in it, or washing your hands with it, will be a great way to just settle and calm. It's a nice like external regulator. Now, if you're actually really wound up and anxious, it can also be helpful to take a hot bath, and that's 101 to 104 degrees. And that's very calming to your musculature. It's also going to increase your blood and lymphatic flow, move your white blood cells around, help rev up your immune system and get things going. So you're both relaxing and also energizing. So those are two great bathing types of ways to end your day. So Dr. Donovan?
So now that you have come home and you've been suppressing all these feelings all day long, but as you get ready for work and while you're at work, now is the time to complete the stress cycle. So stress happens in our body in response to stressors. Stressors don't always go away, but our body still needs to complete the physiologic stress cycle so that we can calm down and function. So completing this physiologic stress cycle can be done with things like really vigorous activity, either exercise, contracting your muscles and visualizing something that you're angry about or something that you feel strongly about, having dance parties, laughing really hard, shaking your body intentionally or involuntarily with shuddering or something like that. It also can be completed with some other activities that occasionally involve somebody else. So if you have someone in your household with whom that you share physical affection, this is a good time for consensual and mutual hugs that are 60 seconds or longer when you're both standing in your own center of gravity and no one's supporting each other physically, and do it for a long period of time, like 20 seconds or longer. Or if you have a partner that you kiss, then kissing for 6 seconds or longer can help physiologically ramp down the stress cycle. When we think about physiologic stress, sometimes we describe it as something like running from a bear or something like that. So if your body is doing all the things that it needs to do to run from a bear, kissing someone for 6 seconds really gives your brain the signal that you're not running from a bear right now. Slow, deep breathing can also do the same thing. It impacts a different part of the brain, and it signals to your body that you're no longer in a fight or flight situation. And then vocalize your exhales with a sigh. You can tell stories, complain for 90 seconds or some period of time where you've made some rules and kept them, like have a venting session, either with a friend or a loved one. And then you can also do singing. Singing can be really helpful over a group, over the Skype like this or Zoom or something like that, or within your household, or even just singing in the shower, any of those things. And then you can share your feelings with someone you trust. And if you don't have someone you already trust, it might be a good time to form a relationship where you have trust in someone else.
It's also important with all this stress to actually name those stressors that you don't have control over. Because again, Dr. Donovan was talking about being able to help the stress that's held in your body, but sometimes actually naming the things you don't have control over helps your body say like, oh, right, I can't do anything about that, and let it go. It changes the expectations again of success. So naming things you don't have control over, like American capitalism and the desire to be productive, American employment-based healthcare, where you have to keep a job to keep your healthcare access, private insurance denials of service, and the limitations we have on building testing material. A lot of the uncertain things, like this virus. In this country, there's a lot of uncertainty about like who has it, where it is, where it's gonna pop up, what we can do about it, how we can treat it. Those are all things that we don't have control over. And if you just say to yourself, like, I actually don't have control over what other people do or what these systems have put in place and what my very high up bosses are doing, like just saying to yourself that those are out of my control, even though it's sort of scary, it also helps our brain say like, right. We don't have to be working so hard to change that right now because we can't. Okay, Dr. Ahmadpour is going to tell us more relaxation stuff though.
Yes. With all of these strategies and things to do, I also want to remind you and give you permission if you need it, that it's okay to just numb out. There's a lot of things and ideas that we might have about numbing being bad or not good, and it's okay to just abandon this concept of good and bad and instead just focus on your needs. What do you need? And if all of this is just way too much, and feeling your feelings and strategizing and all of that is just not sounding nourishing right now, it's okay to numb. So I'm sure that when I say numb, there are some things that come to mind for you as ways that you know that you kind of numb out when things are too much. But just some examples might be food. Food is a wonderful way to just kind of numb out and escape into something that is enjoyable and pleasurable. So whether it's sugary food or salty food or crunchy food or really savory food, whatever you're craving, it's okay to indulge it. And eating with people is also really nourishing if that feels like something that you need right now. And of course, using these tools that we have through technology to do that is okay. TV shows, so really lighthearted and sort of not of this time and place TV shows. So like cooking shows or gardening shows or these like romance series or shows about history or making things, sitcoms, fantasy, like all of that, wonderful and totally okay to indulge in. And it might feel really good to, as everything is sort of feeling too much and out of your control, engage in things that feel like really small, achievable tasks and milestones, like playing a video game, and feeling like you beat the boss or you beat this level and you're working through this thing that can be actually really emotionally nourishing right now. As well as just picking a little corner or space of the house to clean or some dishes to wash, doing things that kind of reinforce that yes, you still have some control and power over your environment and over your circumstances. And it's okay to numb out and space out and do nothing. And another important post-work ritual is moisturizing your hands. So our skin has this wonderful natural protective barrier against things kind of like what Dr. Allenton was speaking about, the outside coming inside. So our skin is this really wonderful natural protective barrier. And so we have to nourish it. So with all of the hand washing that we're doing and wearing gloves, and the hand sanitizer, that can really strip down the lipid layer of our skin and make it more dry and cracked and prone to open up. And that can leave us more susceptible to the outside coming inside. So moisturize. So use a lotion, as Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye says, put lotion on your hands, cover your hands with cotton socks, and go to sleep. And so overnight, your skin can really soak up all of that good moisture. And you can switch to a hypoallergenic lotion or soap, something gentler on your skin that you're using more regularly at home. And if you have any cuts or fissures or abrasions from all of the hand washing, using a topical cream that's a little bit more soothing and healing, so something like Neosporin, or using like a balm that's more protective there. And right now, just a reminder that if you have the time or resources, it's a really fantastic time to connect with individualized support. So whether that is a counselor or a therapist, someone that you've worked with in the past, or asking around your community for suggestions for someone that you can work with now and into the future, or a healthcare provider who you trust. And you can get individualized one-on-one support, and you can get to talk about all of the specifics about the things that are happening for you right now, and that time and attention and space for you can be so important right now during this time. And of course, providers at Hive Mind Medicine are available, including Dr. Donovan, myself, Dr. Allenton, and as well as other providers. So feel free to reach out. We are here to support you and are providing telemedicine services currently. And Dr. Donovan can share some other resources as well.
A couple of other resources include looking at Psychology Today, which is a website that has a lot of options. A lot of therapists and counselors post themselves there, and they say what insurance they take and all of that stuff. And then it's, when you look for a provider, you can, it's searchable by the insurance that they're taking, where they're located, if they're doing telemedicine, all of those pieces. So that's psychologytoday.com. There's also betterhelp.com, which is an email-based counseling service, so that it can work more in an altered timeline. If you have a schedule that is difficult to get in, the typical Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, to get some counseling in at that time. You can also send emails like in the moment when something's bothering you. Or you could reach out to Hive Mind Medicine and Bridge to Becoming, which is where Dr. Allenton works. And you could speak to any of us or our stress management counselor, Kayla Sandberg-Lewis. Whatever you do to get yourself through this time, I hope that you're thriving and doing well.